Yo, welcome back to another video. Now, we have our third recording that I have done today. It is kind of unheard of me doing 3 videos back to back 2 days in a row, which is kind of crazy, but I have wanted to make another video just because why not? Originally, I was going to do a guts video, but Nose is currently not working correctly, so I do want Nose to be working properly before I go into more detail on how his damages work. So there is that will come out whenever I do get a time to do it, and also when Nose is actually working. So what we are going to be doing in this video is going over some cool little interactions that I have found during the current update with old and new units. The first one that we will be checking out is Griffith with his interaction with Giselle. So Giselle is a limited unit, so you can't get her anymore, unfortunately, but she is a 3 placement unit. If I go ahead and place all 3 down, as you can see, a 3 placement unit, I can't place any more down. But if I were to upgrade her to her second attack, she, instead of changing her attack, she gets a new placement. And then if I do it to her max upgrade, she gets another placement, meaning that each placement is actually 3 placements, which is very, very strong, especially for Griffith with his branded buff that he gives himself after having branded units in his range. So if I go ahead and upgrade all of them, let's now go ahead and start the Eclipse, and we now have to defend these units so they stay branded and don't get sacrificed. Now, one thing that I did learn about is with the Eclipse, this either lasts for 3 waves or until a certain amount of allies do get sacrificed. So what we are going to be doing is we have an additional placement of weather report that we are going to be purposely placing onto Eclipse demons and hoping that he does get sacrificed, so we can speed up the process of the Eclipse itself, which if I am fast enough, I should be able to get it done relatively quickly. As you can see right there, that was done fairly fast, and we have Femto already activated. He has a 1.65 times damage multiplier because of all of the branded units that are on the map currently, which is very nice. We'll go ahead and sacrifice him one more time so we can go ahead and check him out from his light form. All right, so now we are at his light form. We are at 1.6 times multiplier on him currently. One thing to note with Giselle as well is her additional placements that she creates. Even if Eclipse Demon runs into them, they actually can't be sacrificed and destroyed, which is pretty cool. So they can act as body blocking, but I am also just using Skull Knights, so he can always clear around. That is perfect for that. So yeah, that is the small interaction between Giselle and also how his Eclipse works, which is pretty cool. All right, going into our next interaction that I have, it is kind of a cool one. So it is based around the Smith. On a takedown, the Smith does get 1 ore stack, which I'll show with a Ragnar if I were to place them down. As you can see, once Ragnar does kill these enemies, the Oresmith will gain some ores. As you can see, we'll get 5 takedowns, and the Smith now has 5 ores. Let me just place my Ragnar at the back. If you were to have a unit that actually has a Barbary equipped to them, so this is a +1 Barbary, meaning that technically all the kills that I'm doing count as 2 kills. If we now look at his ore stacks, you'll see it jumps up by a lot. We have gotten 30 takedowns and we have 55 ore stack. 5 was from the original 5 from Ragnar, and now we are getting 2 per ore stacks because of Barbary. So if you have a +2, that means you're getting 3 ores per kill, and then if you somehow have a +3 Barbary, then you are getting +4 per kill, which is very, very strong. All right, so that is the first interaction with the Smith. You have more ores from having a Barbary on the unit that is getting the takedowns, which is very nice. Now the next one is just showcasing that Ragnar does in fact work with the Masterwork weapons. He does stack each time. So if we were to go ahead and place a Masterwork weapon on him, personally I think Sword of Actuation is the best because of the reduced SPA. Let's go ahead and place that on. He is getting 10% SPA buff and a 20% damage buff. If we were then to replace him, as you can see, that buff still stays, and we can go ahead and craft another one and place it on top of him again, and then we'll do it another time, go ahead and do it one more time, boom, and then we'll do it a final time. As you can see, you can stack it pretty well. This makes Smith an amazing unit to use alongside Ragnar Ragnar if you do really like using him. This is perfect because his SBA becomes insanely low. So yeah, that is pretty good. But yeah, that's about it. That is the cool interaction with the Smith and Ragnar. Going on to the final interaction that I have, that is probably my favorite. Alright, and our final interaction that I have is to do with the new familiar Nose. So every single time a unit attacks with Nose, they get self-stunned, which that is the first part to know. Every single time they attack, they self-stun themselves. The next thing to know is Skull Knight's second passive. Whenever a unit gets stunned, he will teleport to that unit. So we'll go ahead and have my Kapachi get stunned and all of my units now get teleported. With this, what you can do is you can sell a unit and place it in the enemy's range, the unit that has Nose, to make sure that your Skull Knights will get teleported to your unit that gets stunned, which if we go even further, we can go ahead and max upgrade all of them so they're always full AoE and always attacking the enemy. But this is not it. We can go even further. You can have a unit that has the Nose familiar on him that you'll just sell and replace, or you can take it a step further and go even beyond with an insane combo that I thought of when coming home, and I'm so glad that it works, and that is with Katakuri. So Katakuri, he follows the enemy on attack. Basically, he will always chase them, and this interacts well with this Nose unit because he will move and then he will get stunned. So this means that he'll forever be on the enemy, and then this also means that Skull Knight will always be teleporting to Katakuri, which is really crazy. So as you can see, Skull Knights will always be in range of the enemy that is being chased, which is very, very good. And then whenever the enemy does eventually get killed, all we need to do to be able to bring all of our Skull Knights back to the start is if we were to place down the unit that has Nose again and get them stunned at the start of the stage to bring all of the Skull Knights back. So after we kill this Vegeta, I will be back just to showcase that, and then this is where we'll end things off here. There you go, we have killed Vegeta, and as you can see, Skull Knights were able to basically stay within Vegeta's range the entire time attacking him, which is pretty cool, even though, you know, we don't have the highest damage on our Skull Knights, but we were able to take down a, like 15 million HP boss. And now let's say we have a new set of enemies coming through at the start of the stage, we can just place down our Katakuri or the unit that has Nose to bring all of our Skull Knights back to the start of the stage, which is very cool. So yeah, that is my small little interactions video that I found that is pretty cool, this update. But yeah, that is going to be the end of this video. Hopefully I'll have a better video out later on. But yeah, I appreciate it if you have watched this far through the video. See ya.